Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Lyle Benjamin. I'm the founder and executive director of Planned Acts and One Planet, One People. So thank you all for joining us today and expressing your interest in our internship mentorship program or our volunteer programs. So has everyone had the opportunity to see the orientation video that we sent out, as well as checking out some of our websites? If you have, just go ahead and raise your hand, and you can do this physically. Okay, we got thumbs up, we got yeah. And if you're just coming in, please go on video. Okay, great. And we can use this as a way to say, hey, hello too. Okay, because it's nice to say hello to the people who are here. Okay, so our educational programs are very different from what you might have experienced or heard about from other organizations, in that they are real world based, and that we teach what we call foundation skills. So regardless of the area that you're coming in for, and we have quite a bit of diversity, not only in the people and where you're from, but also the fields that you're in, there are certain foundation skills that you need to have in order to be very successful in the real world. Unfortunately, colleges and universities across the United States and even internationally don't focus on these real world skill development. Okay. So the thing is that our programs can act as a bridge between what you learn in school and your success in the real world. And we're not just talking success as workers, because what school teaches you to do is do tasks. Okay. We're not going to go ahead necessarily and teach you, right, to do tasks. We're going to teach you to achieve objectives. And the way that you're going to achieve objectives is through critical thinking, analysis, okay, and a bunch of other things, which I'll go over briefly tonight or today, as the case may be. Okay, so everyone who's here should know already that Zoom is a visual medium, and that your learning is going to take place from being on Zoom and being able to communicate. So everyone should be on video. Okay. If there's a reason why you're not on video or cannot be on video, speak up and share it with me. And then, right, I'll understand and we'll go forward. But one of the requirements for you being here is that you go on video. So I'll give you a minute to get your cameras situated before I continue. That'll give me a chance to answer a couple of texts from people who are late. Okay. So what makes our programs different? One, right, it is that real world integration that I spoke about. Okay. But it's at a much higher level than what you might have experienced, right, in school. There is no busy work in what you're going to be doing. One of the things I ask my undergraduate and graduate students from colleges around the country is, think about all the classes, courses, subjects, right, papers, projects that you've done during your high school and college days. Did any of them impact other people's quality of life? And think about that yourself, right? During your high school, during your college days, okay, did you work on things that really had an immediate impact, right, on people's lives? Okay. You can put the answers in the chat, actually. Go ahead. You can put yes, no, right? I don't know, whatever the case may be. The answer that I get from my students is no. Okay. What they're doing is they're doing education for education's sake. They're learning information, but they're not applying it to the real world. They're not taking action, right, on things that are solutions to real world problems. That's 180 degrees, right, difference between what you'll be doing here. Everything you'll be doing here is geared to have an impact in the real world. And we're going to go ahead and delve into what type of impact you want to have in the real world with the work that you're going to do. And then hopefully, right, we'll be able to go ahead and after you've been in the program for a while and achieve some right objectives, we'll be able to assess through metrics, right, what that impact is. Okay. And that will go into the benefits that you get. That can be reflected in your resume, in your CV, in your portfolio. Okay. And if you like what you're doing, there's even opportunities for you to continue with our organization. Okay. So the thing is, how do we go ahead and do this? Well, one of the things that we do is our programs tie into DGs from the United Nations, all 17. They tie into SDGs and corporate social responsibility initiatives that can be instituted by companies, governments, organizations, NGOs, NPOs worldwide, and also educational institutions. And Locus, you just joined us, right? And you should be on video, as is everyone else. Okay. And if you haven't put your information in the chat in terms of your name, what area you're interested in, and what country you're in, please go ahead and do so now. Okay. So the thing is, we get into what are the real world problems that people face, and then we develop systems to solve those problems, okay? And they're actionable, scalable systems. And they take a variety of different forms, everything from books to software applications to actual products as well, okay? So the thing is that when you come in, the first thing, and Taslim, you're just joining us a little bit late, please go on video. And from now on, I hope all of you know that when you come into meetings, it says it in the materials, right? And one of the things you're going to have to learn to do if you're going to be working in companies is follow company policies and procedures. So go on video, like we ask, and be prepared, right? In the future, when you come into meetings, you'll have to be able to take notes, okay? And we'll get into this a little bit more in a few minutes. Okay, so the thing is that with the programs, regardless of what your field is, you're going to have to go ahead and understand and be able to utilize certain foundation skills. So we're going to teach you how to go ahead and use AI better than possibly what you already know, okay? And that's through our AIM program, Artificial Intelligence Management. Regardless of the field that you're in, you need to know how to manage your projects. Okay, so we're going to teach you our proprietary project management system called the Pomoro system, which stands for project management and the 4 components that go into that: objective, research, outline, and spreadsheet. Project management, unfortunately, is a key skill if you want to go into management and leadership. But I suspect, right, many of you have not really been taught how to manage your work, okay, through what you studied in school. So if you haven't been taught how to manage projects effectively, go ahead and raise your hand and don't be shy, okay? Now, if if I don't see a lot of hands, I know some of you just aren't participating. Okay, because thank you. I talk to a lot of students. I have a lot of people who go through our program. Okay, thanks. And I know from, right, everything from, IT to graphics to communications to business, right? People are not taught, it's not part of the curriculum, okay, in what they're going ahead and learning. So it's fundamental, okay? And then another subset of what we teach is called the Essential 8 Foundation Skills. And that's everything from communication to marketing management, office tech, research, problem solving, and time management. These are the skills that you need working together to move from that worker mentality, that task-driven education that you've gotten for 12, 16, 18, 20, 24 years sometimes, into management and leadership. Okay. Who here wants to be a worker, right? Your entire career? Raise your hand. Okay. So now I know, right, how to get answers out of all of you. Okay. Who wants to be management of, right, leadership eventually in their career? Raise their hand. Okay. We got some people raising two hands, right? Okay. So the thing is that this is where you need to be. This is where you're going to get your foundation, okay? And unfortunately, it's going to be the hardest thing that you've ever done academically in terms of our curriculum, in terms of how we go ahead and educate you, because you are used to being good students and following, right, the educational model. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the United States or in UK, right, or in another part of the world, the educational models are very similar. Okay, I'm in Malaysia right now. I'm working with colleges, okay, and other educational institutions who want to go ahead and incorporate our programs for their students. And we're going to be setting up educational centers here. And then in 2026, right, the goal is to have them all over the world. The thing is that we need, right, a complete reform in how education is done. So there is that real world connection. We can no longer afford to go through and having our students, right, spend that amount of time in school only working towards grades and a diploma, right, in pursuit of a paycheck. Now, we know, right, that we're not going to reform, right, educational institutions internally, right, or externally. They're very slow moving. They're very bureaucratic. There's people who are too invested in doing things, right, the old way. So we're doing it collaboratively and externally. Okay. So we have our overall program, which is called the STEP program. It stands for Supplemental Education and Supplemental Training and Educational Progress. Okay. And then our programs are under that. Okay. So when you come in, regardless of your major, you're going to learn your foundation skills, and you're going to go ahead and be assigned a real world project in the area that you're interested in. And the learning takes place not from getting an assignment, turning it in 2 weeks later, getting a grade and a few comments, right, from your mentor or professor. That's what you did in school. Here, the learning is going to take place from you doing exactly what you're doing tonight. Coming on Zoom, presenting your work, and then getting professional feedback on it. The difference is you're going to have to go back, okay, and revise your work based upon the feedback that you get. And you're going to have to present again. And then you may have to revise again and again. And then hopefully, right, not again. Okay. But you're going to revise your work as many times as necessary to get it up to the level that we require to use it in the real world. And we don't do things for 80% of the population. We have to present to heads of government agencies. We have to present to CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. We have to present to founders of NGOs. And also, right, sometimes presidents, principals, chancellors of higher educational institutions. And these are the people who are going to look at our work and recognize, right, the quality and whether they want to move forward in a heartbeat. So the thing is, you right now, right, with your education, let's say, in particular fields, may not even know what you don't know. And you're going to learn not to do things based upon your knowledge and your experience, because that's not going to be the level that we're going to go ahead and do it. You're going to learn that you've got to start off with what your objective is. You're going to learn how to research using AI. You're going to learn how to analyze information, how to synthesize that information, how to outline it, and then how to manage it. And that's fundamental for every single discipline. And you're going to use the essential 8 foundation skills collaboratively in order to help you achieve your success. And some of you may be working at an extremely high level in terms of engagement, but we're not going to give you that ability to engage with, let's say, top leaders and thinkers in the world until you've demonstrated your aptitude in following our systems, including our communication systems. Okay. So everyone have an understanding of at least some of the foundations. I know it may be a little bit vague because we're only talking, right, using words, and you actually haven't seen what I'm talking about and experienced it, but everyone following so far, right, will do the old hand raise. Raise your hand or give me a big nod. Yes. Okay. So everyone understands, thank you. Everyone understands our process. Okay. So there are actually 5 characteristics that you need to have in order to be successful in our system. The first is you've got to have a desire to help other people. Okay? If you're doing this just for yourself, that might not be enough for what we go ahead and expect of you. Okay? We're doing this because, right, the world is in crisis. And the next decade is going to determine quality of life for literally 8 billion people. And the solutions that are being put forth by the institutions, your governments, our government, right? Businesses and NGOs, as well as educational institutions, are all fractional in nature. And the fractional approach to solving these problems simply won't work. It hasn't worked for the United Nations for the last 50 plus years. It's not working today. It's even getting worse. And it won't work in the future. But the window of opportunity to push back on these tipping point issues is closing. So the only way that we're going to succeed is through collaboration. So that's why we're putting together the first collaborative sustainability summit here in Malaysia in April of next year, where our goal is to have, right, over 400 collaborations established through institutions, have 60 educational centers established, have our programs in all 185, 95 countries around the world, and literally have over 25 million people participating in the summit around the world, okay, in April. So the thing is, you might be working on part of these initiatives, which is very exciting, okay, and very necessary. So the work that you're going to do is important. You're not just going ahead and doing it to get a grade, which isn't going to affect anyone's quality of life, right? Even your own, actually. So what we ask is that you treat the program with respect. You show up when you're supposed to show up. And if you can't for a valid reason, you let us know in advance, okay? And we will always treat you with respect as well. So, first characteristics is the desire to help other people. Second is determination. Like I said earlier, right? You're all really good students in school. This is not school. It requires actually more determination, because it's easy to do the things you know how to do. You know how to be good students. It's hard to do the things that you don't know how to do, and you don't know how to go ahead and apply critical thinking to the objectives in order to go ahead and have required outcomes. And that's what you're going to go ahead and learn. I'll answer questions when I'm done with this. So the thing is, you've got to have the determination to go ahead and understand that the feedback that you're getting on your work is to help make you better. Not because we like to be critical and we're doing it to hurt your feelings. Okay? So the point is, don't get your feelings hurt if you find out that, right, instead of being an A student, right, where all your papers and all your work sails through, right, with gold stars, you're not getting that here. Which leads us to the third characteristic, and that is the willingness to learn. If you don't have a willingness to learn, right, and you're stuck in your old ways and you can't make, let's say, transformations, right, it's going to be difficult for you. And that's okay. Okay, we're willing to work with you for a long period of time until you start to get it. Okay, as long as you still have that willingness to push through. Fourth, most important, action. Okay, everything you do is geared to you taking action on achieving the objectives. So what that means is, right, we don't expect you to disappear for 2 weeks. okay? And come back and say, oh, well, I was doing something, I was tied up, or I was working on it, right? And I was waiting until I was done to go ahead and show it. That's not action in our system. What is action in our system? Go ahead. Anyone want to say?
Hi, Lyle. Sorry. A heads up, I sent you a private message. I need to leave at 9:30. Yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
okay. So you need to leave right now, right?
Well, like in 2 minutes, it's fine.
Okay, so the next step for you, Linda, is to text into our WhatsApp account with your name, your field, what your initial start date is, and then what your schedule would be, and that's going to be true of everyone as well. Once we get that, we'll set up another meeting. We're going to have individual meetings to go over, right, your background, your interests, and what you'll be working on. Okay, so thank you for joining us. Okay, and if you need
Thanks,
clarification,
Lyle.
text in. Okay, great.
Good to
Okay,
see everyone.
thank you. Okay, so who knows what action is in the system, in our system? Come on, you got to say it in 1 minute because Linda's got to leave and she wants to hear it. Okay, nobody knows what action is in our system?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, quick.
I thought it would be like every week updates on our tasks, assigned task.
It's not updates, you're close. It's presenting on Zoom the work that you've done. Okay, that's a little different than updates, and you'll get communication is very specific in what we say here, and you'll learn that. But good, thank you, right, Mohan. Okay, so action is right getting on Zoom, and the thing is that you might get on Zoom, get feedback, and then you might have to present that same day a revision to it, which gets into right how you manage your time. Okay. I often ask my students, well, how long will it take you to go ahead and accomplish this? And I get answers like, oh, 4 days, or oh, I'll turn it in next week. And then I say, that's not acceptable. Let's break down the time. And then we break down the time, and it turns out that it should only take them 3 hours to do. And they just started a 4 hour block. uh, so anyone see, right, how that doesn't really work in the real world? Okay. If it's supposed to take you 3 hours to do, but you're not going to turn it into your supervisor, right, until 4 days later, guess what? You might not have a job, okay, because it's taking you too long to do the work, right? And the company doesn't want to be paying you 2 or 3 times as much for work that you're supposed to be completing. So you've got to learn how this really works in the real world. Okay, so you've got to take action on your work. And don't expect us to go chasing you if we haven't heard from you. Okay, we're dealing with, right, companies, schools, blah, 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 governments. Okay, we're not going to go chase our interns, okay, on how come they haven't turned in, right, their assignment, or how come they haven't, right, gotten in touch. So you have to check in with us and say, hey, right, I'm ready to present, I'm ready to share, right? Can we meet? And you're going to do that through WhatsApp. We do not use email as a method of communication. It's very inefficient. Okay, so everything you're going to do is going to be through WhatsApp and then meetings on Zoom. And we're going to set up a folder for you on our remote server where you go ahead and put your work. Okay, so everyone clear on the most important aspect, which is action. If you're clear, give me a thumbs up. We're going to switch it up. Okay, right? SDF, are you clear? She gave me a tech-driven thumbs up. Thank you. Okay. Now, last characteristic that we require is commitment. Okay. In order to be successful in our program, you've got to make a commitment to put in the time and the effort to be successful. You can have all the desire, determination in the world, but if you don't make that commitment, you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. Okay, what we've laid out for you to go ahead and achieve. And honestly, if you're not going to put in that commitment, please don't take our time, because I'm not getting paid to go ahead and mentor. Okay, your professors in college wouldn't teach you if they weren't getting paid. Your university wouldn't have a slot for you unless somebody was paying them. That's not the case with what we're doing, right? We're going ahead, and because of what our mission is, we're going ahead and volunteering our time and expertise in order to help make you successful. So treat it with, like I said, respect. Okay. And then you will get the benefits. And the benefits are tremendous. Not only will you learn systems that will benefit you throughout your entire career, but actually they're lifelong systems that you can use in your personal life to great advantage. You will get the ability to go ahead and build a portfolio, revise your resume. Also, depending on the work that you do and what you complete, you can get a letter of recommendation that goes into the success that you've had. And that letter of recommendation can actually move you ahead of sometimes hundreds and thousands of candidates, right? Because that's how many people are applying for jobs sometimes. Okay, because it's independent verification with a reputable source that you actually did the work that you claim to have done in your resume and gotten tangible results from it. So that's some of the benefits. Additionally, depending on what you're working on, if you like what you're doing with our organization, and we like you, which I'm sure we will, but hopefully we'll like your work as well, right? There may be the opportunity to join with our organization and earn income. Okay. We are expanding worldwide, and we're going to be providing people who have gone through our system with opportunities to move up and up and up in the organization. Okay. So those are everything from our mission to our systems to some of our policies, and what are the characteristics and requirements from you, and then also what are some of the benefits for yourselves as well. Okay, so if you have any questions right now, and the questions that you can ask are not necessarily about what you're specifically going to be doing, because what we will do is I will have individual meetings with you where we're going to go over your background and what you may be working on. Because a lot of times for that, we do it custom. Okay, so we might have two people who are interested, let's say, in app development, and you may not be working on the same thing. Okay, so it's customized for you, and and we'll get into that in our next meeting. But initially, anyone have any questions about, right, the information that I've spoken about? Are you all good? It's all clear? If it's clear, right, raise your left hand. We're going to switch it up. There we go. Okay. A couple of you don't participate. Oh, okay. We got 100% participation. Yay. Okay. You guys are great. Thank you. Okay. So the next step is what you're going to do, and you should be familiar with this already, is you're going to text into the WhatsApp number your name, right? What your discipline is, and what area you're interested in terms of not geographic, right, but program-wise with the organization, okay? What your country is, and again, and then also what your anticipated start date is, and then also, let's see, I'll wait until we meet to go over scheduling. Okay, so start with that block. Okay, text all that in, and then we'll go ahead and get back to you with a meeting date. This coming week, I'll be in a lot of meetings and traveling, and I'm the one who's going to be going ahead and talking to you about your program development. And then the following week, I'll be back in the US after spending 3 months in Malaysia, okay, working with organizations for the initiatives that we're bringing in next year. And you'll have the opportunity to work on programs that can be national and global. There's nothing that we design that's simply local, okay? So this is very different than what other NPO or NGOs do. Okay, it's designed to go ahead and have maximum impact. So you might be working on a program where our goal is to impact tens, hundreds, even millions of people. So for some of you, it might be scary. For other people, it might be very exciting. Okay. And as you go through our systems and our steps, and you start to learn how we do things and how we improve the work that you're doing, you're going to go ahead and keep track of what you've done, where you started on a program, and then the iterations that you've done all the way through where, right, that aspect is approved. And then you'll be able to look back and see, right, just on that, how far you've come and the changes, right, in how you do things. Okay. And on large projects, we are not going to go ahead and give you everything all at once. Right? Right? There's something like paralysis by analysis. Okay? You will be paralyzed because of how much needs to go into in terms of, right, bringing a system into fruition. So we're going to give you things in phases. You master a phase, you move on. You master a phase and you move on. Okay? And you really will know when you get it, when you can not only apply it, right, to new projects that you're working on, but you can extrapolate and apply it to objectives that were never in your radar before. And that's the beauty of our system, or I'll say systems collectively. You don't have to go back and get a 4-year degree in something to learn how to master it. When you use our systems, you'll have enough mastery over it to accomplish the objective that you need to at a very, very high level. So I can go ahead and design programs like I was asked to design a pollution and waste management program by the government of Bali. Now, Bali has had a pollution and waste management problem for a very long time. Okay, but none of the solutions that they've tried have worked. Okay, now I went ahead and designed a system that's not just for Bali, but can be implemented worldwide. And next year, we're going to roll it out. Okay, but did I go to school for 6 years of 4 years of college, 2-year master program, right? Another 2 years for my PhD in order to go ahead and design this program in, let's say, sustainability and pollution management? No. I used my system, and I'm really good at doing research and analytics and building solutions. And that's what you need to be in your career, because many of you, in the things that you went to school for, those careers are not going to exist 3 to 5 years from now. Do you know why? Go ahead. Anyone know why? Speak up. Nobody wants to speak up? Everybody's shy? It's called artificial intelligence. AI is already wiping out jobs, not entirely, but by percentages of workforce. When they start, right, mastering some of the difficulties that they have right now with the work that it does, you can bet they're going to wipe out almost 90% of workforces. And it almost, even where labor is very inexpensive, they will still wipe it out there, because the AI simply can do it at almost no cost. Okay, and no benefits required, and no sick time required, and faster with less HR problems, and a host of other things. So the thing is, you have to get really good at being valuable. We're going to go ahead and make you valuable, more valuable. I apologize, more valuable. Okay. And it doesn't matter almost what field you're in. Yeah, AI might not be doing brain surgery unless it does robotics. Okay. But the thing is, even for graphic artists, you're not going to be doing artwork anymore. You're going to have to go ahead and tell AIs how to do the artwork, because it can do it at a fraction of the time, and it can do variations and modifications that would take you a long time to do. So if you want to be doing artwork, right, you're going to have to master AI. And it's the same thing for so many other disciplines. Okay. That's enough doom and gloom. We're here to be exciting, right? And excited about what the future can bring, because we can go ahead and we can master these things, and we can be part of the solution to the problems. Okay? So go ahead and text the WhatsApp with your information, and we'll set up as quickly as possible our individual meetings. And then after that, you'll get an assignment. You'll work on what your schedule will be. and we'll get you set up and going. Okay? So it was nice meeting you all today, and look forward to going ahead and getting to know you in the coming months and having the impact that, right, is absolutely needed. And the work that you do, like I was saying before, it can be national, it can be global. There are ways to go ahead and integrate this where if you want to help your own country, okay, even if you're living somewhere else, you can go ahead and do that. We'll work on, right, how there can be an integration in order to benefit your own country. Okay. Okay. So we're all good for now? If we're good,
Benjamin, I have one question.
yes.
I think there in the website, I can see that there is some charge that you are charging from the students to get OPT letter. Can you please elaborate about that?
There's some, I'm sorry.
There's some fee to get, I mean, there is some fee to get OPT acceptance letter. Is that for trainings that you give to us or something like that? Anything else for that?
The training for OPT is not charged, okay? There are government requirements in the United States that we have to follow. And we do charge, right, administrative fees on going ahead and doing that, okay? They're nominal compared to the benefits that you get. And the thing is that you pay for your education in the United States. You pay to go ahead and attend the schools. The schools pay their professors. We're not getting paid for your training. If you don't want to pay the nominal fee, even though, right, we're a nonprofit. Nonprofits do charge people. They do charge for training. They do charge for classes if they're an educational nonprofit. If you think just because we're a nonprofit, we should do everything for free, okay, everyone is entitled, right, to their beliefs. Okay, so the thing is, if you can afford it, then you speak right to our organization and we'll go into that aspect to how we can go ahead and mitigate that. If you don't want to pay just because you're standing on principle, that's fine as well. If you don't think our material, our education is valuable, then that's fine as well. The other thing is that there are ways for you to go ahead and earn income through our programs after you've been in the program and mastered, right, the foundation systems. So the thing is that when you're in the program, you can earn back whatever small charges there were on the OPT many, many times over. And if you're in just for the regular internship mentorship, there are no fees associated with anything that we're doing, but you still may earn income as well down the road based upon performance, okay? And having you mastered the foundation systems and also, right, our policies and procedures. So the thing is that we want you to be successful. We have the programs to make you successful. It's up to you whether you go ahead and take advantage of them. All right? Okay. So any questions you have also, you can text in to WhatsApp. All righty. Okay. So it was great meeting you all and look forward to seeing you again and making an impact. That's what it's all about. All righty. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, no matter where you are. Take care.